Hi guys, it's me, Kathy, MrsHandyRU. Hope everybody's doing really well today. And I'm doing pretty good, so is Mr. Handy. And I wanted to tell you, in case you hadn't noticed, that I'm on Rumble now. So when I upload to YouTube, I'm also uploading onto Rumble. And I heard that you can get paid for watching Rumble videos, which honestly I haven't looked in depth into that, so I'm not sure how you go about it. And let's see, so I'm on Rumble, I wanted to tell you that, and I'm also on Truth Social, and I'm just plain old MrsHandyRU on Truth Social. And on Telegram, it's real MrsHandyRU, just if you want to see what I post. And if you want to see my post and what everybody else is posting, it's MrsHandyRU Chit Chat. And I hope you put your own posts on there and you enjoy it and have fun and talk to each other. So anyway, I'm putting my neck out on the line. Yeah, more like going out on a limb, okay? Yeah, it's not as serious as my neck on the line. It's going on a limb, you know. And you'll see why when I get into it. But it's funny, when I entered going out on a limb in gematrix.org, excuse me, it came up to 174 and it equals trust the plan. So I guess I'm supposed to go out on a limb. And this is all about the World Series, which is, I'm recording this on Thursday night. But the first game is tomorrow night on October 28th. And it's at 8 o'clock. And it should be interesting. Anyway, so I think I've talked to you about the World Series before. And it's just seems like the 1989 World Series had a huge earthquake, and you know how I am about earthquake comms. And there was a huge earthquake and a lot of people died, and it was just a few minutes before the game started. So I told you before, maybe it was even the last video, that game 3 got postponed 10 days. And every time I see anything with 10, it makes me think of our favorite Anon, Q. And Q. And so it made me think about that. I kept wondering previously, would it be game 3? Could it possibly be an FF earthquake or earthquakes resulting in tsunamis and all that stuff for game 3? But now I'm kind of leaning towards, it could be game 2. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. I'll get to it. And it could be 100% wrong, right? Or it could be a year from now. It's just weird, huh? But the World Series is really late this year as well. They've got another round of playoffs. I think I don't really understand it. And so that was the reason that it was going to be this late, beginning. And it's never been that late before. So, right before Halloween. Kind of odd, isn't it? So I'm going to just get into my notes. Okay, so I was looking at the week numbers. I don't mean week, W-E-A-K. I mean each week of the year. And the week of October 30th to November 5th is week 44, which is an 8. And it's 22 times 2, obviously. And, 44s and things with 2s in them remind me of President Kennedy, which was 11/22/63. So, okay. Then the week after, of course, is 45. And that seems like a big deal. And that happens to be November 6th to November 12th. 2022, in case you're from the future. And the big thing about that week to me is that November 7th is, I think, all the Jesus's birthdays. I think they were all created at the same time. And like I told you recently, I don't think it's just 2 witnesses like I thought before. I think it's 4. The twins, John and John, right? The President Kennedy and John Jr., or as I like to call him, Jr. And Diana, Princess Diana, and Jacqueline Kennedy. So, so November 7th is supposed to be their birthday. That's the way I look at it. And it was my mom's birthday too. So it's a big deal to me that it was her birthday. And so that's week 45. Okay. The next week is 46. And that's interesting because 46 is 1. That's 1. And that's the 13th to the 19th. And sorry, I'm a little gravelly already. Let's see. And then we had week 47, right? And that's November 20th to the 26th. And you take 47 and reverse it, and it's 74 Jesus. So I'm thinking we'll pop, I don't know, could be next year, 5 years, whatever, but on a Thanksgiving, possibly, maybe during the Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's in New York City, Macy's parade, that's live. I think it starts at 9 o'clock. They've had QComs. I'm just going to say Q. They've had QComs over the last few years. They have a float that goes through, and it looks like kids' building blocks all stacked up, and there's little drawers pulled out. And I don't remember what it said, but it was something that pertains to our group. Something QE. Something QE. That's stupid. Okay. So I thought that would be appropriate. A lot of people think that, not just me. And the Houston Thanksgiving Day parade the last couple of years has been our junior playing Santa. And so it just kind of seems like it would be the New York one because it's the one most people watch. And they could be undercover. We'll have to look at Santa real close, but I don't think the last couple of years it was JFK. I suppose it could have been, right? But, President Kennedy. And I've been known to be wrong. And of course, the last week, well, not the last week, but the last week I wrote down is 48, and it's November 27th. Did I get that out of order? Scratch that. I don't want to start over again. I really don't. Oh my gosh, you guys. So here I am going out on the limb. Okay, so game 2 of the World Series is on 10/29/22. Now that's Saturday night. And that's a day that I've been thinking something big would happen. I've said that recently. Juan said something big would happen. So I'm in good company. And let's see. So I just put in 10/29 in gematrix.org. And if you're new, and I'm hoping there's always somebody new, it's I'm doing gematria, same thing. And A equals 1 through Z equals 26. It's Bible coding. And I enter mine into gematrix.org. And in the search bar, I enter either a phrase, a word, or all the capitals from, say, a letter or a news article, anything like that. And it will come up with, you push calculate gematria, and they do the calculating, and it will let you know what that word, phrase, or letter has for a value. And then it will come up with, you have to choose which gematria you want. And I always choose simple gematria. You have 3 choices. There's Jewish, English, and simple. So I always push the choice for simple, and then it comes up with a bunch of matches. That's one way to look at it, matches. And it will be all things that have that same number value. as the word, phrase, or letter that you put in. And you listen to the Holy Spirit, or however you want to look at it, telling you what's appropriate for that moment in time. You can write it in your phone, or you can write it on paper like I always do. I still haven't figured out how to get it properly in my phone because I don't know why. And anyway, so what was I saying? So you come up with the values, write down the list, and it starts to tell you a story. So you kind of get the gist of what's going on that God wants you to know about, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. And that's it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm entering words and phrases or letters or things like that into gematrix.org. And I'm coming up with all of these matches like here. Are you ready? This is not even all of it. This is for right at this moment. But look at this stuff. That's my stuff. And that's edited. So anyway, so 1029 is 188. And that's cool because 88 is Trump in simple gematria. Okay, but 188 is President Kennedy, presidential alert, and false claims murdered. And you can look at that in so many ways. That could be, President Kennedy wasn't really murdered. He took himself out of the picture with a fake death, right? And I have a playlist about that in case you're interested if you're new. And murdered false claims, or vice versa, false claims murdered, is going to pertain to when it looks like President Trump is gone. And I'm just pretty sure right now that it's going to look like that. It's not just arrested. The way I get it in my coding is that it will look like he's gone, just 100% gone. And I don't know if it's going to be like a heart attack, like an Epstein idea in the brig. I should say in the brig because it's military. It would be military prison. Maybe even get Mao, supposedly, but he won't be there. Or it could be that he's put on trial for, say, what they want. This is all up to President Trump and President Kennedy and Juan, John, everybody. So this isn't going to surprise President Trump at all. And so don't worry, really. And it could look like he's on trial for treason, happens very quickly. And then it looks like he's, gone. And either with a rope or, the other way, like a guillotine or something like that. And it's going to look so real. I mean, honestly, I've told you about this before. It would look so real. I've looked at Midsummer Murders. Is a show that, they all have comms, but Midsummer Murders has lots. Like, even the names are coded. All those character names they throw at you, there's like 20 character names in the plot, and you're like, there's too many names. Well, they all mean something, and the places and all that in the TV show. You can watch it on YouTube. And what was I going to say about it? So they had a plot where they were producing, I should say, a movie in the show. So that was what the plot was, that a movie set was there in this little town and all the people were extras. And it was amazing. This was from a few years ago, like maybe it was mid-2000s. I don't remember when all these were on. And the video is so real. And this is just a TV series from England. It's not a high budget thing. And boy, when they showed the guillotine scene, because I think, it was about the French Revolution, this movie plot within the TV show. It looks so real. I couldn't believe it. But you should watch it. And so if they could do that just for a TV show, what is it going to look like when there's an unlimited budget? It's going to look very real. And people will be like, that's not fake. That happened. And they'll be so crushed. And I hope somebody shares the video and lets somebody else know it's not real. Good reason to share videos, right? So everybody comes off the ledge, you know, that they're crawling out on. And I'm talking too much, you guys. I am just barely into this. So 188, you know, President Kennedy, false claims, murdered, presidential alert, turn off antennas, like the communications, all kinds of things, nuclear holocaust matches, it's too late now, the end of humanity, and all kinds of happy things. Oh, and another thing that is 188, what was it? Rises on the third day. Rises on the third day is 188. And that's what the witnesses that look like, well, they are DOA, you know, because of the beast event, then they'll come back on the third day. And unless that's all a lie, I don't know. And landslide blowout and volcanic activity, all that matches. So on the 29th, we have volcanic activity. We also have volcano things on the game after, the game 3. So I don't even know what order I have this stuff in. It got so intense, I couldn't stop writing. So sorry about the noise. Yeah, so okay, in 1989, when they had that Loma Prieta, probably said it wrong, earthquake, that was like it was a 7.1. Are we surprised? 7.1 reversed to 17, and it was on October 17th. Are we surprised? No. And the bad guys did that. And we're taking the numbers back, as you all know. So good guys are in control. And okay, so they postponed, like I said in the very beginning, they postponed that game 3, for 10 days. That had ended up happening on 10/29, but this year, game 2 will be on 10/29. So it's a little iffy. Is it? Are we thinking about 2 or 3? Right? I'm not sure. That's, like I said, day after tomorrow. It's Saturday. Who knows when this is going to get posted? Sometimes it takes forever, especially if I wait too long. Let's see. So then I entered game 2, and it's 84. Let's see. It is a game. 5-5, like comms. 555 is also JFK JR. Calamity, all these are 84. Calamity, coincidence, really? No. Sirens, spectacle, megaphone, big event, playing, like playing a game. Let's see. Yelling, perished. It's real. Then we have visual and fabricate, like making it up. All kinds of bad stuff. Incoming, biohazard, fusion, coughing. And then we have Rosebud, matches 84. And that's reminds me of Orson Welles, who did the live broadcast that scared everybody out of their minds called War of the Worlds. And, you know, this was from another movie, Citizen Kane. So it's interesting, isn't it? Let's see. Throw matches 84. So all kinds of things baseball-y match 84. After Dark. All these games are at 8 o'clock. Let's see. And a funny one that matches, you guys will think it's so funny. Hair hats. You know, hair and hats. It's so funny because Babe Ruth on that one of the recent Clouseau videos, he comes up on stage as a younger man and shakes President Trump's hand. And he's got this long, long hair right down his back. And another one that matches. So long hair, hair hats, back to life, hello again. And it all makes me think of Babe Ruth, which I'm sure is, what we're supposed to be thinking, because that's how our brains work. We start connecting and going on and on and on. That's how we work. So, and it's funny, I think it's the next page, right? Yeah. So I'm recording it on Thursday, and it's the 27th, October 27th. And it's so funny because 10/29 actually is the day after tomorrow. And I had already been working on, the movie Day After Tomorrow. And let me see where I have it right here. So I was working on, okay, so I put October 29th in, and it's 250, and it equals day after tomorrow, which is what the 29th will be after today, It'll be day after tomorrow. And there was a movie, I haven't seen it because I don't usually watch this kind of movie, but there was a 2004 movie called Day After Tomorrow, and it's about a paleoclimatologist who treks from Washington, I'm just quoting, treks from Washington, D.C. to New York City to save his son, Sam, who's trapped in the crosshairs of a sudden international storm, which plunges the planet into a new ice age. And he wanted to get his son, Sam, who was attending an event. Now, I don't know what it is, because I haven't watched the movie. This is just the preview. There they discovered that it's been raining nonstop for 3 days. A series of weather-related disasters begin to occur all over the world, and the world begins to evacuate to warmer climates. Stuck in New York City, managed to survive a massive wave, like a tsunami. Tornadoes leveled Los Angeles. Towering tidal surge floods Manhattan. Superstorm batters northern hemisphere. Temperature drops. All in New York City, a sheet of ice. More from, and this is from another article about the movie. Will the world survive the devastating ice Armageddon? And at the end, it's this little blurb was from Nick Reganis. It's a made-up name. Most of these names that write these things are made up, and they're white hats. So I put his name into gematrix.org because I'm lazy and I don't figure out the numbers like I should, like Tom does. I'm sorry. Tom Numbers, Site Club, please watch him. Nick, Riganus, and it's 126, and it's 107, of course. Okay, so let's see. This is all about people involved in the movie. Now, I didn't go into the stars or anything like that. This is all behind the scenes in the movie. Art Bell, who was on, let's see, what did he do? He was, I can't remember. He wrote a book called The Coming Global Superstorm, but he was also on, I don't have it in my revised notes, but he was also on a YouTube kind of talk show. And I'm sure most of you already know who Art Bell is. And one had been on, or maybe it was Wayne Willott. I don't remember what his character was, but he was, I think, pretty sure he was on with Art Bell. And it was, oh yeah, I see. It was a paranormal themed radio program called Coast to Coast AM. Okay, so Art Bell was born 6/17, 1945, got a 45, got a 17, in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is kind of where I keep thinking the beast thing's going to happen, but I don't know, obviously. And let's see, he died on 4/13/18, and you add up 4, 1, 3, 1, and 8, and it's 17. And he died in a really funny place. I'm sorry, but it was funny. I don't think he's dead, you know, so I can laugh. Okay, it sounds like something you'd say if you were disagreeing with somebody. Parump. Parump. I don't know. It's PAHRUMP in Nevada. And to me, that's hysterically funny. But Arthur Bell is 117. That's his full name is Arthur William Bell, but Arthur Bell is 117. Equals faked own death. And Jackie Kennedy, because she faked her own death. And October 10. And I know we went by October 10th, and I had all the stuff about October 10th I put out there. But Bushcraft Bear did put a video out. I don't know if it's in my notes here or if I left it out, but he put out a video on October 10th, and he had his own article that he wrote to go with the video. And there was, was it in Burnholm, I think it was Bonholm, and there was, you can look it up under Bushcraft Bear, who's our junior, and it was about Burnholm or whatever this place was, had the underlying cables cut accidentally, and the whole island was out of power. And I think that was the beginning of something that, you know, is going to go on all over the place. So that was on 10/10. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and the screenplay for this is all about the Day After Tomorrow, the sci-fi movie. It was by Roland Emmerlich, Emmerlich. Well, you put his name in gematrix.org and you get Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. He also helped write it. So we did the screenplay and he helped write it. Okay. Then we had the other person that wrote the screenplay was supposed to be Jeffrey Nachmanoff, Nachmanoff. When you say that, it sounds like you're knocking a man off, right? And Jeffrey Nachmanoff is 156, and that equals Patrick Kennedy, which also equals Barron Trump. I mean, it's the same value. Maybe Barron was involved too. Hi, guys. And Prince Anthony Radziwill is Patrick. Okay? So in case you didn't know that, but that's who that is. And he's one of the Vincent Fuscas. And I don't know, I can't remember what notes I have to come up to, but I have notes about it. He's Professor Horatio Q. Melonhead on YouTube. And I can't find him on other, I used to talk to him on Twitter, but I can't find him anywhere right now on Truth Social or Telegram. And if you find him, let me know. That'd be nice. Let's see. So this movie, Day After Tomorrow, it premiered in Mexico City, which was interesting. That's where it appeared. And it was on 5/17/2004. So it's the 17th. And so I told you who wrote it. And I told you who helped write the blurb about it, Juan O'Savin. So we've got President Trump, we've got Patrick Kennedy, and we have Juan O'Savin. All involved in the Day After Tomorrow movie. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, yeah, that's reiterating the same stuff, Kathy. Don't say that stuff. So, the World Series is going to be the Houston Astros versus the Philadelphia Phillies. And let's see, Houston won the All-Star game this summer, which is where they have like a home run derby, and you know, they play each other, so it's the American League best players against the National League best players, unless the managers don't want to put the absolute best players in because they need them for right after the game. You know, so sometimes the absolute best players are not in it. But it's the idea. They're supposed to be near the best or the best. So Houston won the All-Star game this summer. So they got home field advantage. And that's how it works. That's who gets, you know, the majority of the games, if they had to play all 7, would give the winner of the All-Star game home field advantage. So, okay, so game 1 would be, well, like you'll probably see it, and it'll be the night of game 1, this video. 10:28. All these are at 8 p.m. on Fox if you want to watch it. Game 2 is Saturday, and Sunday there's no game. It's a travel day. Monday is Halloween, and that's game 3. Tuesday's November 1st, game 4. And then if they need these last 2 games, you know, if somebody swept, they wouldn't even need the games. But let's see, game 5 is Thursday on 11/2. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Wednesday, 11/2 is a travel day. Excuse me. Wait a minute, I'm getting myself all screwed up. Tuesday, 11/1 is a travel day. Game 4 is 11/2. I gotta get this stuff right. Anyway, we come on to Friday, game 6 is 11/4, and 11/5 is Saturday, game 7, if necessary, all the, you know how it goes. So it's interesting when you see these, if you look it up online and you're trying to find out who's playing when and all that, you'll see it. Every team has a 3-letter abbreviation, and it's like HOU is Houston, PHI is Phillies. So I'll get to that in a minute, but so I did Astros, Phillies to start with. I didn't do and or anything. I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do, and that's how, you know, you go, well, how come you chose that? And it's, I don't know, that's what I feel like I'm supposed to do for that moment. I don't know. So Astros, Phillies is 182, and it equals the storm is here, darkness to light, sun simulator, and you know how I'm always talking about the eclipse, a dark force of nature, earth, sun, and moon, ain't no sunshine, and Psalm 91, like my favorite psalm, a lot of people's favorite psalm, and it's taking protection under the wings of the Almighty, and it's beautiful. Okay, the storm is here, darkness to light, the end of the world, and then November 4th, and that would be game 6 if it was needed to be played. So I just thought that was interesting. November 4th is a match to Astros, Phillies. Dark Side of the Moon, KILL, Donald, you know who. And then we have False Flappy Thing, Operation, like on a flagpole, that kind of thing. And winning numbers, and who's your daddy? Yeah, that's a baseball chant. You know, when you've got a pitcher up there, I think it's usually a pitcher, and he's not doing too well, or the crowd doesn't want him to do well, they'll chant, who's your, get to it, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Well, we have God, so there's that. What else matches Astros, Phillies? Oh, you know that goofy phrase that our the fake Biden, one of the Bidens says? Remember that silly thing, Corn Pop was a bad dude, Corn Pop? And that matches 182. So when he said that, he's saying all this other stuff, like KI, you know, Donald Trump, False Flappy Thing, Operation, the storm is here. That's what all that means. And that was our guy. Now, it could have been Junior at that moment. It could have been Bobby. It could have been Sean Connery, could have been all kinds of people. So then, okay, here we go with the 3-letter abbreviations. So PHI and HOU together is 77. And of course, that's Christ. That's one of the few I know. So I'm excited. I get to say one I know. 77 is the big game. Great game. All kinds of baseball terms, terminology, terms, whatever, are in this. It's not a coincidence, I don't think. Player, it's on, like the game is on. Played dead matches and is alive matches. So played dead but is alive. Babe Ruth matches. So I wonder, is Babe Ruth going to be in the stands, maybe behind home base, sitting there with his long hair and looking younger? That could be, probably with a baseball hat on though. So that's a chance. I don't think we're going to see him come out on that day, but who knows? Let's see. Comeback Kid makes me think of him and other people that I'm going to mention. Let's see. Headlines. Let's see. Grammy, like that's music, but it's an award for a show. Theater. Have fun. Star DNA, like Babe Ruth. And Clemente. Clemente, and that would be, in my mind, is Roberto Clemente, and he was from Cuba. He was a great baseball player, and he died in an airplane crash. And I said air crash because that's in here. Air crash is in here. That matches 77. What else is in here that's cool? Light beams. Like, will we see light beams somewhere in night matches? So I thought that was pretty cool. It also matches bird brain. And we had a Red Sox player. He was a pitcher, really good pitcher. And his nickname was, they called him Mark the Bird, in quotes, the Bird Fidrich. And he was very, very tall, and he would make a funny pose, and people thought he was standing there like a bird, maybe like a heron, I'm not sure. So they called him the Bird. And bird brain matches, and he died 4/13/2009. So maybe this is referring to he's alive. I don't know. That'd be cool. Duck boat matches, and every time somebody wins the World Series, they go on. They're from whatever city they're from, their team is from. They, like say Boston, they go out on all these duck boats and have a huge parade, and like a couple of million people usually watch, at least around here. And they do that for the what do you call it? Super Bowl. They do that for football too. Another match for 77, which is Christ, right, is John Joe, like two names. John, not saying and, but John Joe. And remember, Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. became JFK Jr. Jr. Oh my gosh, get your stuff right. And, fake sun matches, and a whole bunch of really interesting ones. Match 77. Let's see. Oh, and Black Sun, like SON, and Black Blood matches. Now, it made me think of Jackie Robinson because he was the first black baseball player. You know, there's segregated leagues back then. And he was the first one. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of the royalty that we're talking about. You know, the real royalty, not like the fake, yucky royalty people, royals. And he played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Let's see. So, anyway, I had a lot of fun with that one. So you can look at, yeah, you can look at, if it was Jackie Robinson, like Black Sun and all that, The Hidden and Played Dead would go along with him. Oh, and baseball bat matches. So all of these were from PHI for Philadelphia Phillies and HOU for Houston Astros. That was a really good one. Okay, so then I thought, okay, I got to try game 3. Just have to. Because for a while, before I did this video, and I mean all the decoding for this video, I kept thinking, well, something's going to happen game 3, because it was game 3 that was postponed 10 days in 1989. But it won't be on the same day. It will be on the 30th. So game 2 is on the day that I was just talking about, the 29th. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear some feedback on all this. And just tell me if you've gotten anything about it, or if you've decoded anything that makes you think anything's going to happen, or if I'm just crazy. Okay, game 3, when you just put in that in geomatrix.org, is 82. Okay. It equals Armageddon. Happy thoughts. Fake Armageddon. I mean, it's fake Armageddon for us, right? It will look like Armageddon. Like I know people who are getting ready for it to not just hit the fan, but like that they're persecuted and that they won't get food because it will be, everybody's against them. You know, that's the way they're looking at Revelation. That's not the way I'm looking at it, especially now. Okay. And okay, Armageddon is 82. The year, I thought that was interesting because it's also the dates. So it's game 3, the date, you know, that would be the 30th, and that would be Sunday, this Sunday. Okay, then we have just plain old volcano matches. I don't know, which would cause an earthquake, right? That could definitely cause an earthquake. Doesn't have to, but it could. Noisy, game changer, like changing a game, literally. Propel, now that's not even a legit word, but Prople. I noticed that because that was a Trumpology that President Trump did. I think it was years ago, maybe a couple, or maybe it's even longer ago. And it was supposed to be the word people. And on Twitter, he misspelled it. He doesn't do anything by chance. It's never an accident. Every word, every syllable he says, just like Juan and lots of other people, it's so precise. They know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. And in a Trump rally, if he says something twice, it's important. Well, you know all that. If he misspeaks, I call it a Trumpology. And that's what Tom calls it. Tom Numbers. So anyway, Propel was in this number 82 match for game 3. And so that's important because he wanted us to look at 82s. That's the point of misspelling something on purpose. So 82s are what he wanted us to look at, which is Armageddon. It equals the Lord. Correct matches, volcano, noisy, game changer. Another one that's fascinating is Tisha B'Av. I know I don't say all these things right. I'm sorry. But TISHAB'. And what it is the 9th of Av. And Juan has talked about Av a lot. I think he talked about the 9th of Av, but I don't remember exactly. It's an annual fast day in Judaism on which a number of disasters occurred, primarily destruction of both Solomon's temples by the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the Second Temple by the Roman Empire in Jerusalem. And what the 9th of Av means, and Tisha B'Av, is mourning of the disasters. So the two, it's like almost like you can look at the World Trade Center. I mean, I know it meant something else, and Juan has talked about that, but you can look at the World Trade Center as kind of like the two towers. And when you think about just that phrase, the two towers, I think that the Fellowship of the Ring, the Lord of the Rings, which is out now, it's having a big comeback on purpose, because the White Hats are behind it. On is it Netflix? I don't remember, but maybe it's Amazon. Yeah, I think it's Amazon, and it's really popular. So the two towers from that whole series, the Hobbit, the two towers, you can think of it as the twin towers, and it's like the two towers of Jerusalem that were destroyed. And Return of the King is Christ. I think it's going to be a bunch of Christ, but anyway, they're coming back. And Spirit of Christ. There's a lot of ways to look at this. Okay. Game 3 at 82. So I told you Tisha B'Av, it equals minute, almost like you have a minute to react, maybe. Red sky, unhinged, and pathetic. All that matches. Game changer, Armageddon. Okay. And now I have the church bells ringing. I think that's a good sign. It's funny, I have a church at the very end of the road, which is not far behind me. So I've got the train, I have the church bells, I have cat, I was going to say cats, but I have a cat, and that makes noise. And then you have me on top of everything making noise. Okay. So this Halloween, this October 31st, is Monday. And I noticed, well, I didn't notice, but I entered it in the day date calculator. And that is 88 days from the beginning, because Tisha B'Av, in Jewish tradition, they celebrate good and bad in the evening. They start in the evening. I think it's sunset. And so their days are looked at that way. They go from the evening through the next day into the nightfall. I think that's how they do it. So that's like a 24-hour period. Okay, so that's why I said the beginning of it. I think it starts on the 6th. 88 days before. I didn't write that part down. Anyway, so October 31st, 2022, on Monday, is 88 days from the beginning. Oh yeah, I do have it, of Tisha B'Av, which the beginning of it was 8/6/22, and it would end the evening, nightfall, 8/7, which is a 78 backwards, and that's Kennedy. Let's see. I lost my train of thought again. It's 88 days from the beginning of Tisha B'Av, which is the anniversary of the two temples being destroyed. So 88 is Trump and false, plural, things on a flagpole. False, flappy things, as I'm always saying. So I thought that was interesting and important. That October 31st, which is Halloween, is 88 days exactly from Tisha B'Av. So, yeah. I don't know, guys. So that's the anniversary of the two temples being destroyed, like I said. And like I said before in the other video, that the 28th is That's tomorrow night. Like I said, I'm recording this on the 27th, but the 28th is the 5th anniversary of, I was going to say our favorite and on, but our first Q post. So that's 5 is grace. I mean, 5 for believers of God and Jesus. And I don't mean just Christians. I mean, all kinds of people believe that. So 5 is the number of grace, but 5 is the number of death and defense on the bad guys' side. You know, they look at it that way, death and defense, and that's why the Pentagon has 5 sides, but you probably already know that. And yeah, so that's important, and that would be tomorrow night, Friday night. That would be the 5th anniversary. Happy anniversary, Q! We should all do happy anniversary Q tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I just thought of that. And if you're still on Twitter, you can do it there. I haven't been on it in a long time. Telegram, do hashtag happy anniversary Q. Oh my gosh, let's do it. I bet I'm not the only one thinking about that. Yeah, happy anniversary Q and bring it on Q would be another good hashtag. Okay, so let's see. I don't know. I can't even. Oh yeah, I was talking right here. I was mentioning that on 10/17/89, it was a 7.1 magnitude. Reverse it to 17, and it was at 5:04 Pacific Daylight Time. Anyway, and 10:31, I got into the date calculator again. Halloween will be the 304th day of the year, and I just thought it was something to notice because 3 and 4 is 7, and it'll be week number 44. So Halloween falls in number 44. And the name of that earthquake in 1989 that postponed Game 3 of the World Series was Loma Prieta, Prieta, and that's 110. It equals Christmas, President, Martial Law, Punisher, Loud and Clear, Meteorite, Sparrow, and as we've said before, JFK Jr.'s Secret Service code name was Lark, which is a sparrow, and we have sparrow matching. Laughing Hard, Unbelievable, like not believable, and Just Us. So I'm not sure what to think, but I have got something in here somewhere. I don't know, in that pile somewhere about, I think it's something about Bob Hope, actually. I think it is. I think it's when he was doing one of his Christmas Eve radio shows. Yeah. And, Christmas Eve I've gotten before for, maybe that's, to me, actually, not maybe, but to me, to me, I think that the big FF nuke stuff could possibly be Christmas Eve. And if not Christmas Eve, it would be like a couple of fake warnings. They're all fake, but if you look back at when I did the video about Washington crossing the Delaware and the timing of everything, started on Christmas Eve. Of course, it was against the British, and you know that. And there were 2 false alarms, so it wasn't really false alerts, but it was 2 false alarms that the Hessians got that they ignored. But like I said, I think Diana was that general or whatever that was the Hessian guy in charge. And she either was disguised because they did that back then, or she was came as a man for that time frame on purpose to help everything go through the way it had to go. I think what these people have, I'm talking with my hands like you can see. I think what these people have is they have assignments, and they don't have complete control of their lives. They're like prisoners. I think you really could call them prisoners. We've talked about that before, but like God, like President Trump, is telling them, okay, now you need to do this. Now you need to do that. Now I want you to tell them this. Now this is your role. And it's gone on for lifetimes. And here we are. Here we are, all of us. We're here. Think about that. I mean, oh, I'm so excited just talking about it. I can't take it sometimes. It's so exciting. We're here. Can you imagine how excited all our relatives would have been to be here, like right now? It's just too cool. It's just too cool. So I think I got through that okay without looking like too stupid. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. I wish Mr. Handy was here listening. He'd go, what are you talking about? Anyway, I'm going to go. I love you guys. I hope this was under an hour. Oh my goodness. Please share. Okay. Please share it so everybody can. I might be wrong. It might be another year. Might not be anything to do with the World Series, but there's other little nuggets in there that might be helpful to people, you know, to get them to not be afraid. And I would appreciate it if you'd share it and like it and all that stuff. And don't forget that I'm on Rumble now. And like I said, I think you get paid now for watching Rumble. Like maybe you could look it up and figure it out. I just saw somebody say that. I didn't try to look into it. Yeah. So, and thanks for you guys who have donated or will donate. You know, I always notice it, believe me. And Mr. Handy comes running and tells me, you know, who it is and everything. So thank you guys. And take care of each other. And keep your peanut butter under your bed. I love you guys. Bye.